Oh, do we?
Yeah.
Ready? Okay,
Oh, because Bosca made me take it last time.
get it out of my system. I want to call the order the meeting,
Their
the
engineer's coming on.
December 11th meeting of the Coastside County Water District. And I'll ask for roll call.
Yes. Director Michelson,
Present.
Vice President Coverdale.
Here.
Director Reynolds.
Here.
Director Glassberg. President Feldman.
Here, okay, pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
All righty, first item is public comment. Seeing no members of the public, we will go to the consent calendar. Are there any items on the calendar that any director wishes to pull or to discuss at this point?
I have a question on an item, but it would not prevent me from voting for the consent calendar.
Okay, so we can do it after we do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay, so we'll take a vote.
So how about
We have a
Motion?
I'll move we approve the
sorry.
consent calendar.
Yeah, and I'll second it.
Okay, vote please.
yes, Director Michelson,
Yes, and I did review the claims, just for the record, yes.
Vice President Coverdale.
Yes.
Director Reynolds.
Yes.
Director Glassberg.
Yes.
President Feldman.
Yes,
Thank you.
okay. Item you had,
Yeah, I had
Director
a
Glassberg.
question again about the production reports, item E. And just, it looked to me as though we used 65 million gallons more at this point this year than we did last year. But when I look at the cumulative production chart, I don't feel like it reflects that.
Okay.
It looks to me like the blue line is way up over 325 million gallons, but it really should, if I read it correctly, should be 256. So I'm just wondering if there's a glitch in the graph program. Don't need an answer, just wanted to point it out for whoever.
We'll look at that.
Yeah, thank you, that's all. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. See that? Just trying to find it. There it is. Okay, so they're right on each other, and so, okay, she'll take a look and see if there's something up here. Appreciate that. All right. Next thing is any meetings attended? Director Cody.
I did some very serious snow research in the High Sierra, and I can tell you that the snowpack is phenomenal for this early in the year. The most amazing thing about it is it was like a day and night deal, because the week prior to the storm coming through, the set of storms, it was at Kirkwood on the webcam, it was all brown, and there was kind of this white patch through the center where they were making snow. And then the storms came through, and they've had 90 inches of snow at Kirkwood this season.
How many?
90. And the base that they're still reporting is over 60 inches, and it's phenomenal. The coverage is like winter coverage. It's so, yeah, it's just fantastic. Yeah. I mean, Kirkwood's a terrible place to ski. I would go to Bear Valley, but it's, looking at the snow is a very interesting place to look at the snow.
Wow.
All righty, well, thank you for the weather report. Skiing's pretty good in North Carolina, too, I heard.
Yeah.
36
In case
inches.
you want to go do a little research there.
Yeah, but it's all flat.
Yeah, I
man.
know, but
I've
it's-
skied.
No, they throw you behind the
snowplows.
I've skied in North Carolina. Beach
Okay,
mountain,
well, it's,
kind of flat.
sometimes I think it's, things are more than we want sometimes, there's no question about that, especially there. Any other meetings, Dr. Glassberg, Dr. Reynolds?
It wasn't a meeting, but I do get the Bosca, I get copied on Bosca emails, and Division of Dam Safety has given the go-ahead to start filling Calaveras. They didn't say to what level, but certainly beyond the level that it was at prior, so this is all good news, so we can start increasing our local storage by, capturing water here in the Bay Area.
So is the
How many-
Calaveras Dam done?
very nearly done. It's not 100% done, but for the most part it is.
Yeah, it's still at 24% as of,
Yeah, well, that's, yeah,
storage.
yeah, the storage. I forget what was they were limited to, I forget what percentage.
it was 20, I thought it was 24 when they figured out there was an earthquake through the old dam.
Yeah, it was really, really low. So they
Yeah.
did get a green light to start going beyond the 24%. So we'll, as the winter progresses, we'll see that number rise.
Yeah.
So how will they fill it? Surely they're gonna, is there some source of water, like stream water?
Yeah, no, there is actually a very large watershed. It's not like high mountains, but it is a very broad watershed. It's not necessarily like a high watershed, but it's very, very, very broad. And it could take years for it to fill.
Alameda Creek is the drainage out
Yeah,
of that.
it is, yeah, and it's,
Yeah.
So have they been diverting creeks
Yeah.
that would normally come into the dam while they've been
I think they've just
reconstructing?
been letting it come out, because,
Oh, so it
yeah.
comes in and out.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
and it actually spills, you can see, looks like LA, where the aqueducts in LA. Because,
Oh, the big-
yeah, when it really pours, Alameda Creek does roar, but in the summertime it trickles.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, that's cool.
Well,
Oh, good.
and the tunnel's right there too. They improved that tunnel, which is part of the outflow for Calaveras, isn't it? When we were on the tour, there's a tunnel right beside the dam, or not beside the dam, but close to it.
Yeah, that will be the new outfall for the dam.
It's really cool. Have you ever been there?
Yeah,
Oh,
a couple years ago.
There should be a ribbon
Years
cutting
ago.
this coming, spring, summer. I mean,
That's
it'll be
an
done.
amazing project.
Oh, my gosh.
I have one to do with the
Really
project.
cool.
How long has that been underway now? How many years? I forgot when they started that.
Well, environmental.
8 years?
I mean,
I think they
they
actually-
started with,
Yeah.
Alameda Creek is, Glenn, you could probably, speak to that. Boy, they have poured a fortune in that. That was one of the big mitigating money pits. So
I
they've been
meant the-
spending money on Alameda Creek
No.
since I've been on this board, probably.
I meant the dam. that's
Dam,
Calaveras.
probably the environmental work started 20 years ago.
No, but the construction.
The actual construction,
It's been like 5, 6 years.
yeah, probably 5
I
years.
was gonna say about
Okay,
eight
it's been a while.
years is what I
Okay.
That's what
remember.
I would say.
Well, it's good that it's almost.
It stalled out for a while because they found a historical slide,
Yeah.
and so they kind of had to go in and do a quick redesign.
Okay, well, we'll look forward to it. See the 24% go up
Yeah.
after Kathleen. Kathleen will have to change that number now. No, you don't do that. They just send that over. Okay, any other comments? General business, item A, Pilocitos Pipeline Replacement Project. Adoption of initial study mitigated negative declaration, adoption of mitigation monitoring and reporting program, and approval of project. I'll turn it over to Dave.
How much did this cost?
Wasn't that expensive compared to some others we've done. The board's familiar with this project. In 2012, the 12-inch 1947 steel pipeline that brings water from Stone Dam down into our system failed, and we decided that it couldn't be repaired. We got the board's and SFPUC's approval to put in a temporary plastic pipeline, and since then, we have been working on the design and with SFPUC on a permanent replacement. So this is the environmental study, the required CEQA document for the replacement project. We hired AES, Analytical Environmental Services, to do that, to prepare the initial study and mitigated negative declaration for us. And this document prepared by AES was posted for public review in June of this year, June 20th. We took comments until July 20th. On the very last day, we got one comment letter from SFPUC. And those comments were addressed, and we've got the responses to their comments. In addition to responding to their comments on the environmental document, of course, we've got to meet all their conditions in whatever permit or right of entry permit that they issue for the projects and the project, and there are plenty of other conditions. But the recommended action completes the process, the CEQA process for this project. So we recommend that you approve resolution number 2018-11, adopting the initial study and mitigated negative declaration, adopting the mitigation and monitoring reporting program, and approving the Pilarcitos Pipeline Replacement Project, also known as the Stone Dam Pipeline Replacement Project. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
I have a process question. We've done prior projects that had mitigated negative declarations.
Yes.
correct? Many of them, actually, over the years, right? And usually there's a staff report and it says mitigated negative declaration, and they're very, there's 2-3 pages. I haven't seen one of these before. Has anybody seen these?
It's definitely thicker than your average. And
No. I was going to say, this is really.
Maybe the document itself.
The document is quite substantial.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was, surprised to see something of this size, and I think high quality, actually. I try to get through this, and I had no idea of the complexity of the things that have to be researched. I mean, maybe that's my point with this one. This is not something, it's not a walk in the park. You got to know what you're doing to pull one of these together. So that's the first comment I had was, it's pretty substantial. It's quite exhaustive in terms of the way it works through the process, describing all the various exposures, the things that have to be considered, the kinds of endangered things there are, many of which I didn't realize, trees and shrubs and birds and all other kinds of things. So I think it was a learning experience to actually see a physical document here. And so I forgot, when did we issue this? We set this out last year and they finished it in January, February?
I think we approved the contract last October or something like that for
And what do these run
AES.
normally? How much are they? I forget what the,
40,000?
How much?
40,000.
oh, yeah,
I
you
thought
get a
they
lot
did,
for your
I thought
money
they
here.
did an excellent job.
No, you get a
Yes.
lot for your money. I was going to say, this is an excellent job. I thought this was substantially more expensive, but I think it's pretty exhaustive. The thing that came out of this after we did some research, my wife and I, on the report, was that the real big issue in this project was something called the marbled Merlet.
Murrelet, yes.
Which, okay, because that's the thing that really drives much of the commentary, much of the
Right.
endangered species stuff, and says that we really can't start working on this. I mean, physically, in construction, probably until next September, I think you and I discussed.
Have you walked up there?
Yeah, I've been up there.
Yeah, no, it's
No, I-
really pristine, and it
No,
is
it's
a
great.
known habitat.
So this little sucker is the guy that, or the
That's what they
person
look like.
that has been named in here and commented on, which is the marble merlet. And so I was impressed, to find out that.
Well, that's
this little
the
guy-
winged
there's only
version
one
of a
four-
red-legged
There's only
frog.
4 endangered species of this type, and this is one of them.
Yes.
And so we have to be real careful, and I think this thing goes into great detail about how careful we'll be and how we're taking note of everything we have to know to make sure we don't disturb this guy's habitat. And I thought that was pretty fascinating for me, because I learned a lot about, how we have to approach these things. And it's good to know that we can still get on with it, but we just have to base the construction timetable on a period when there's no potential for hurting their nesting, et cetera. I think that's the
Right,
way
we
I
can't-
understand what you said.
Unless we work with hand tools, we can't start until September.
So this is the guy, and I thought that was great, because we learned a lot about this bird, duck. Is this the MAMU? Is that the abbreviation, M-U-M-A? Or M-A-M-U? What is that in this report?
Yeah, I think that's the acronym for marbled
Oh,
merlet.
is it?
I think so. That's what they're using anyway.
Capital M-A-M, capital M-U. I
Odd.
didn't figure it out till I actually got to the name. So, just my comments, I
It's
thought
a-
it was instructive.
Protecting
and-
its nesting area is one of the primary goals of San Francisco PUC's watershed management program, so they pay a lot of attention to it as well.
So, okay, so now, we sign this off and say we want to go do this, and it's just a matter of that, of doing the design and the planning for the construction, et cetera.
We've completed the design.
Oh, okay.
We've met twice now with San Francisco PUC's Project Review Committee, and each time we've gotten a follow-up memo from them about all the conditions they'd like us to meet.
Okay.
So we'll be working on preparing and getting ready to meet all those
Okay.
between now and the end, now and summer. We'll put the project out to bid sometime this summer and plan to be
Okay.
under construction starting in September.
And this is 2,300 linear feet of
Right.
pipe. I can imagine what this gets to be, these things, when we do major stuff. I mean, like San Vicente someday, maybe. We have to start playing around with that.
It's not proportional to the length of the pipe.
It's proportional to the difficulty of the habitat and stuff.
I guess so, yes.
Okay, no, I'm just, any other comments? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, I just hope you didn't use a flash on your camera when you took that picture.
I used the printer on my computer when I printed it off.
That's a-
No, I didn't
Can't
go
be
out and
hassled
take a
that little-
picture.
Oh, good, you
I
won't
just
have
went
to go to
online
jail.
and found them. I'm sorry, I just wanted to see what the rascal looked like. Any other comments on this, Turkey?
My question was answered.
Okay.
No, so I think we're fortunate to keep it out of mitigated neg deck, so, I mean.
No, that's cool.
It could have, it could have blown up into a much more expensive.
No,
project.
it's a good report. I just was very impressed with the process. Anybody want to make a motion to approve the
Oh,
proposal?
I'd do it, but it's a lot of lengthy reading, and I just flipped the page.
So I'll make a motion that we adopt the negative declaration for the Pillar Seago's pipeline replacement project.
Which means approving resolution number 2018-11.
Glenn?
I'm on the wrong one.
A resolution of the Board of Directors of the Coastside County Water District
That one, I was
adopting a
reading the
mitigated
subtitle.
negative declaration and adopting mitigation monitoring and reporting program for the Pillar Cetos pipeline replacement project
Oh, so the-
and approving the project.
That's
okay.
what he
To
said.
quote my illustrious compatriot.
Yeah.
Are you going to second that?
No, I can only make the motion.
Then I'll second it.
Well, I made the motion.
Well, I was
No, but-
reading it out, so I'm not going to
He
second it.
flubbed it, so
usurped
it's
my
moved on.
motion.
Oh, dear God.
Okay,
How
so,
about if
it's-
we all make the motion?
no,
Who actually made the motion?
Glenn,
Glenn made it.
I've been nominated to make the motion,
And who
as
seconded?
second the
eloquently read by my esteemed colleague.
I just wanted to help you with the
Want
language.
me to read it again for
No,
you,
no,
John?
that's okay.
You have to realize
We need a
Patrick really
second,
wants
though.
the
I think
language.
Ken's going to second
Oh, is
it.
Ken gonna second it?
Oh, no, Chris seconded it.
Chris is
all
second.
second.
Ken
Yeah.
couldn't. He had conflict of interest or something.
So, do you have what you need?
Yeah, let's do the roll call vote.
Okay, let's call a vote.
Director Michelson.
Yes.
Vice President Coverdell.
Yes.
Director Reynolds. Director Glassman.
Yes.
President Feldman.
Yes,
Thank you.
okay, well.
Great
keep
job.
us-
I think
you'll
it's
keep us
exciting.
posted on this,
It's an
okay?
exciting project.
All right, next item is the award of the contract for 2-inch El Granado pipeline replacement project?
Yes,
Okay,
this is 300 linear feet of 2-inch galvanized steel main that we have out in El Granada on Madrid and El Granada Boulevard. Believe it or not, when we were close to finishing design, we had 2 leaks on the Madrid line, so this is good timing. Pipes have a sense to know when they are about to be replaced. James Teeter did the plans and specs. We got 5 bids. Skolowski and Gonzalez was the lowest at $88,950. And I'm here to answer any questions if you have any. And this is one of the last stretches of galvanized steel
That's what I was,
we
you
have
just
in El
answered my
Dorado.
question. How much 2-inch do we have left?
That we know of.
Yeah. So we're really getting down to the last, do you think?
We completed the downtown 2-inch project, which was the biggest part of it.
Yep.
We just finished replacing, what was it, 3,500 feet south of Miramontes Point Road. So this will get us pretty close. I don't think there's any, we do have one little stretch along Purissima Way,
A real low priority pipe.
but it's controversial in the neighborhood, so that is,
The neighborhood watch is not in favor of it.
I mean, Craig
so,
Hampton?
but this will be the end of it. I think it's worth noting that the low bid was $300 a foot, and the high bid was $600 a foot.
Yeah, no,
Or $200 a foot.
For 300 feet.
so we've blown
Rule
past the
of-
200.
Yeah, rule of thumb is maybe outdated, although
But it is
it
a
does tend
smaller-
to be a bit higher for a shorter.
Smaller job.
Yeah,
I believe a
and
smaller
there's a
job
couple of
in-
different locations.
Induce higher cost per foot. It would seem like
Same setup
they gotta make
cost.
up the.
But it was a good
cost
range,
on
it
that.
was quite a range of bids. It was interesting that we actually got
interesting.
5 for such a small project. And
They've done
over
work for us
such a big
before,
range.
Stolasky. even.
Yeah, a lot.
They do a lot of work.
It's been a while though since has it been a while since they've?
They did the El Granada Pipeline final phase, the Main Street Bridge replacement.
Okay, so,
Good.
any other comments?
I just had a question. This may not be the appropriate time, but the replacement south of town, have the customers commented on a change in the water service?
They
or-
couldn't be happier.
Yeah. So is it, they're just getting much better flow and pressure and
Yes,
water quality? Are they noticing a difference in water quality? or-
we haven't seen any complaints, but there's much better pressure in the flow.
Great, that's great.
Yes.
Where is the pipe? Because I rode my bike down there today and I couldn't see any disturbed earth. Where actually?
Oh, they did a beautiful job. It's on the west side of the road.
Directional.
How far off the road?
It's quite a bit
Oh,
back.
directional drilling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, it was
Yeah, they
directional
poked
drilling.
little
Oh,
holes.
okay, okay,
It
It's
was
okay.
like
no
sewing.
trench.
They just-
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that explains
No,
it.
it's
And it
over
went
there.
in relatively quick, so.
Yeah, because I
if you
mean,
weren't out there, you missed
I'm
it.
down there all the time, and it's just like, and when I've read that it's in, it's like, we're doing a great job.
Yeah, no, they shot, I was traveling that road frequently and it was fun to watch that get popped in.
We just
Oh, any
quickly
other
jumped
comments?
over to the operational portion of the operations report. Now we're jumping back to item
That's how we roll
6B.
here.
All right,
Okay, so we're back on item
you want me to?
B. So somebody want to
Yeah,
move to accept?
I'll read this one. You ready? Okay. I would like to motion that we authorize the general manager to enter into a contractual agreement with Stosalski and Gonzalez for $89,950 to install 300 linear feet of 6-inch diameter ductile iron water main and appurtenant services, blow-offs, tapping, sleeves, valves, concrete, and repaving work on Madrid Avenue and El Granada Boulevard in the unincorporated San Mateo County area of El Granada.
I think that's more you need.
I read it.
Is
Second,
that the whole thing, direction? Oh, good.
I
Second.
tried reading the subject, and I was
Oh,
told
okay.
you can't read the subject. You have to read
you
Glad
can
you
read
read.
anything you want.
All right, can we have
Take
the
a roll
vote?
call vote?
Yeah, yeah.
Director Michaelson?
Yes.
Vice President Coverdell?
Yes.
Director Reynolds?
Yep.
Director Glassford?
Yes.
President Fellman?
Yes.
Thank you.
Are we, James, have we watched sort of where, or maybe, what is our sort of creep on cost per foot for a pipe? This one's $300 a foot, is that, how, are we going up 5% a year, or is it sort of?
It was 100 not so long ago, it seems like.
Well, it
That's what I was
it
curious,
estimated at
what is
200.
our sort of
Yeah.
cost per foot?
I'd have to go back and look. It's varied over pretty big. So we did the straw flower project. That was pretty high. The downtown 2-inch was about, what, 800,000? Something like that, for 2,000 feet, something like.
It's got to
So,
be,
yeah, it's up there in the 400 range.
Yeah.
but it's also got to be predicated on the environment and the location. and-
Right, there's,
I mean, there's, I mean.
each project has issues that.
Tough, you have to keep
Right.
changing things around. I mean, no, I think it really, it's just straight and level for,
But I think it's clear that it's not $200 per foot anymore.
That's where I
But
was.
it's really interesting to go back in some of the district's old documents
Yeah.
from the 80s.
right.
You know, it was,
Yeah.
numbers were shockingly low compared to what they are now. But there's, you know, there are a lot more conflicting utilities in the streets.
Yeah.
The risks for the contractors are higher in many ways, so.
It was 350 for the one south of Miramontes. How many feet was that, I forgot? The
I'm sorry.
Miramont, the one that went south on one. The one we
Yes.
just did. How many feet?
That was 3,300?
Yeah, and that was 350K.
Yeah, right.
So.
No paving though, really.
Yeah, no, so I'm saying it's 100.
It was also,
a little over
that was unusual.
It
Yeah, that was an
depends,
unusual
yeah.
project, a
But
2-inch
I say
pipe.
it's
Yeah.
environmentally, you know, and Okay, thanks. So, it sounds good, Jim. Thanks for letting us know. Okay, item C is the contract with Balance Hydrologics for Denniston San Vicente stream gauging, groundwater monitoring, and data analysis. Jave?
This is something we do every year about this time. The new water year begins October 1st, so we're always re-upping the contract with Balance Hydrologics. This is a continuation of essentially the same level of effort on Denniston Creek and San Vicente Creek, and it's vital that we continue this gauging in order to support our water supply development efforts in those watersheds. It's a little higher this year than it was. It's a little higher each year, but it's a little higher because we're relocating one of the gauges on Denniston, so that involves some additional work. And the time and materials estimate, which includes a contingency, that's kind of a standard balance thing, is $102,368. I think generally Balance has not billed us for the amount that they estimate. They bill on a time and materials basis, and it's generally been lower. But that's their estimate.
Questions?
Actually, just answered one of them. That's what I wanted to know. Since this is time and materials, is how does this compare to actual after the fact? And you're saying basically that this is probably higher in the past. It's been,
Yes.
their estimate's higher than what they've actually billed, so that's positive. And then the other question you also partially answered, which was, in the years we've been using them, how much has it gone up, their estimate?
Well, we've changed the scope several times, so it's a little tough to kind of draw that line. Last year's estimate was 89,000. I think the contract last year estimate was 89,000, of which they billed 60?
60.
Yeah. So a lot of the cost is for them to actually come out in the field when it's raining and after a rain to check all the gauges and make sure that the stream bed profile is still as they've described it, so they can later convert the water flow depths into an accurate, or the most accurate possible flow numbers. So a lot of it's just field time, and if it rains less, we only had about half normal rainfall last year, not so many storms. If it rains less, that may mean that they come out a little bit less. So they'll still spend some money preparing the final reports.
How far back do our records go on those creeks then?
We started this annual monitoring program in 2010, I think. So we started, as we pointed out in the staff report, we started with water year 2011.
There's nothing preceding that, no historical data or
There's
from others maybe, or?
No, there's not. I mean, the stream gauge, the downstream gauge on Denniston, the one that's right by the Mezzaluna restaurant there, might have gotten started a bit earlier under RCD, I think, but
Okay. Just wondering if there's any other.
our gauging effort, this gauging effort is only, on Denniston has been since water year 2011, and San Vicente a little bit later.
So follow-up, for permitting, for ultimately, end goal here is getting a take from those creeks. How many years of information are they typically looking for? Or is as many as possible, or is there a magic number that we have, X number of years of flow data?
The more we have, the better.
Sure.
When we did the environmental impact report for Denniston, San Vicente, they used what they called, and whatever, nobody disagreed with this, an accepted modeling approach that took the limited set of data we had for Denniston and San Vicente and kind of fit that to another similar watershed where there was a much longer gauging record, and then from that fit, they created sort of an artificial long-term flow record for Denniston and San Vicente. So part of what we're doing as we continue to build our gauging record is seeing how, is building up our own
That would smooth out droughts
Our own
and such, I would guess.
record.
Longer to go.
So in the EIR, we showed I think, 30 years' worth of flow data. So there's a very long, and the comparison watershed was Pescadero Creek. So we showed 30, there's a long gauging record on Pescadero Creek. They took their fit of our limited data to Pescadero Creek and then modeled the flow data to kind of estimate what the yields from, and what we'd be able to take from Denniston and San Vicente as part of evaluating the impact of that increased diversion.
Okay, that's good. No, thank you. That's good.
Any other comments, questions? Alrighty, can I have a motion?
I'll move that we authorize staff to contract with Balance Hydrologics, Inc. for water year 2019, stream gauging, groundwater monitoring, and data analysis for the Denniston Creek and San Vicente Creek watersheds for an estimated time and materials cost of $102,368.
Second, please.
I'll second that.
Okay. Roll call?
Director Michelson?
Yes.
Vice President Coverdell?
Yes.
Director Reynolds? Director Glassford?
Yes.
President Tillman?
Yes. Okay, next item is Assistant General Manager to discuss the approval of updated salary schedule for FY 2018-19 with recommended salary adjustments to be effective December 22nd, 2018. So you want to go over that with us?
Okay, so in 2017, we had Coffin Associates salary survey, and, for the most part, most of the salaries in total were in line, but there were a few outliers. We addressed some adjustments with the represented staff in August, and so we'd like to get approval to adjust a few of the unrepresented staff in our office staff. So we're making recommendations for 4 positions to increase salaries. So we met with the HR committee back in September, and we had agreement with the HR committee on these adjustments.
Comments, questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
So it says the fiscal impact is 44,000, including benefits, so that's the total impact?
That's the total impact.
Great, thanks.
Other questions, comments? Okay, have a oops.
Yeah, I'll
Make a
make a
motion.
motion. Make a motion, we approve the updated salary schedule for fiscal year 2018-2019 with recommended salary rate adjustments to be effective December 22nd, 2018.
For the
Have a second?
position specified?
Huh?
For the position specified, or? Second.
Okay, have a second. Roll call, please.
Director Michelson?
Yes.
Vice President Coverdell?
Aye.
Director Reynolds? Director Glassford?
Aye.
President Tillman?
Yes. Okay, next thing on the agenda is the election of Coastside County Water District Board President and Vice President, which you've all been waiting for with bated breath, no doubt. It's about time for change, so. Okay, I'll turn over to Dave. I know you got to call the,
It's all you.
oh, is it? Okay, so.
All up to the board.
We need to make nominees for the board president first, I assume? Is that how it works? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to take the yes?
I'd like to nominate Director Coverdell as president.
Okay. That's good. And do you need a second for that?
You don't need a second for
Okay.
nominations.
Any other nominations?
Yeah, I'd like to nominate Director Coverdale.
Okay, so,
That means you're in for 2 years, I'm not sure.
didn't you hear? Okay, so now that we have nominations, we take a vote?
And close the nominations.
Any other nominations? Okay, I want to close the
Can
vote.
we do them both at the same
Close the
time?
nominations.
You can do them both,
Do we-
it has been done.
Okay, so let's do the vice president. I'll nominate Chris to be the vice president.
Thank you.
I'm all for
Okay,
it.
any other nominations?
Yeah, let me think about that. Just, no, no.
Hearing no other nominations.
Well, wait a minute, I want to nominate him also, because if I'm in for 2, he's in for 2.
Okay, any other nominations? With hearing none, then we'll call the vote. So the
Close
nominees,
the nominations.
close the nominations.
Now you can take action together or separately. It's up to the board.
Do I have any action and comments, or just go for the vote?
It's up to you.
Okay, let's just take a vote, okay?
So
So
you need a motion?
I need a motion
Oh, I thought we did
to,
that already, didn't we?
no, we
Did
didn't.
nominations?
No, we
Oh,
nominated.
good
Can I have a
Lord.
motion
This
to,
democracy
to,
stuff is tough. I'll move that we,
that we elect?
yeah, I move that we elect Director Coverdell as president, Director Michelson as vice president for the coming year.
Okay, and I need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, that doesn't include either of you. Okay, now we have a vote.
Yes, Director Michelson.
Of course.
Vice President
I'm a little
Coverdell.
uncertain, but I think
Director Reynolds.
Yes.
Director Glassford.
No campaign speeches.
I'm not uncertain, I'm exhausted from the process. Yes.
Me too.
Well, I tell you, this was an easy year, man. We didn't have to run for.
President Feldman.
Yes,
Thank you.
okay, so congratulations to
Thank
the
you, guys.
new,
Thank you.
newly
I
elected
hope we live up to
officers.
your
Oh,
expectations.
absolutely, absolutely.
Tough act to
So,
follow.
I always, do we,
So-
I always ask the,
No, it's done in the next
I
meeting.
do have
depend
one
at the next
comment.
meeting, is that how
So
it works?
is it
Because I
official
gotta sign
swearing in?
stuff.
One
What?
comment.
Yes.
Usually in
And that
January.
comment is to thank you for your year of service as president of this board. You did it well. You chastised us when we were being bad children, not inappropriately so, and I certainly appreciate the service.
Well, maybe we
you've
should
given
create a
to the
sergeant at arms position then.
district. Oh, I'm going to be that. Do I get a gun?
Thank you, I appreciate
In
it.
Nevada.
To move on.
I'd like to make a comment too. I remember when you decided to leave the board, and you had a new grandchild or 2 grandchildren, and you were excited to have time off, and I can remember talking to you about it and telling you that I thought, it was really exciting. And I think as many years as I've been on the board, you probably have brought some interesting counter suggestions in terms of how we operate the board of directors, especially with regard to financing the district. And, I think it's only appropriate that many of these things you've raised have actually taken your name on. And I hope that they're memorialized in the minutes of our board of directors and go down in our history. But I want to tell you that when you came back, it was kind of a, will I really do it, or should I do it? And, there are a couple of other people interested, and I can tell you that we made an excellent choice. I think you've been a tremendous board member. I think you were a great president. You hold incredibly short meetings. They're very concise, and I think they're thoughtful. I think you've done a thoughtful job of coming in and communicating your understanding of the agenda and how to operate. So I just want to thank you for returning back and putting in more service to the district, because you've done a great job. So thank you very much.
Appreciate it. It's always been a pleasure to work with you folks. It's a good group, a good board, and a good staff, and a good district. And you can't beat that, so it makes it easier than it might be. And I think the public appreciates that too, based on the things we've been able to deliver, and the, I would say, quiescence in some sense of their perception. So that's good. I mean, we always got to keep striving to do better. We've got to strive for excellence all the time and never think we've got it licked, because we don't. There's always something can come and bite you. So we just got to keep up the energy and the effort to maintain that level of excellence and improve it. I don't think we're going to be satisfied with what we achieve. We always want to do better. Thank you. So with that, we'll go to the next item on the agenda, which is Superintendent of Operations.
Good evening. It's been a busy month. We replaced 5 fire hydrants. I list them there in case you want to go by and check them out. We also replaced the 4-inch meter serving the Ritz Hotel with a meter that will capture both high and low flows. And while we were in there, they replaced a bunch of valves in there as well.
I have to comment that I happened to be riding my bike down back behind Ritz, and I saw a couple of our trucks parked, and I said, they must be at Mullins or something.
They're at the bar.
And then I looked down into the driveway of the back of the Ritz, and I saw a monster truck
Oh.
with its derrick up, its arm up, and I said, something's going on there, that looks like us, and sure enough, they were sucking out pieces of the valve and the meter, and
Did we have to take them out of service?
no, because they put in a 4-inch
Bypass?
workaround bypass, no, from the water, the hydrant into their supply line. No, it was cool, I watched, it was good.
We ran a hose from the hydrant to their tank inside the building.
Right.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, so
There was a
we take one-
bypass in there, but we had to redo the bypass. It was pretty corroded. So if we go in there again to change the meter out, we can just turn the bypass on.
Okay. Yeah, no, for a
No, I-
hotel, there is no time that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was.
No, I
and I'm
just
sure
want
they
to
were-
comment on
Yeah, that's
seeing
great.
it in action. The
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
were all hovering around. That truck is really value added. No question about it when you see what they can do with it. So it helps put emphasis on the investments we make to try and improve the process and service we provide and the way we do it and the things that we have to keep in mind when we're trying to meet the objectives of
Did we get
delivering
comments from
quality
them?
service.
From the Ritz?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Well, maybe that's good, I don't know.
It's
I'm
like
sure Mario will
transport.
get a call when the bill goes out.
That's when the comment will come.
Well, okay, thanks.
So we also used the monster truck for a 6-inch air vacuum relief valve on the Cahill tank. 40 AMR replacements, 20-meter changeouts that PMI couldn't complete due to field conditions. So we got in there and did that. Last month, Crystal Springs and Pilarcitos were the sources of supply. Currently, we're on the Denniston water as well as the Pilarcitos well and lake. And hopefully with some rain this weekend, we can stay on Pilarcitos Lake and keep Denniston going. Projects, 2-inch south of town went very well. Andrini's got a few items to complete. The air vacuums, relief valves need to go in, and we need to go and abandon the old connection out on Highway 1. So we're scheduling, they're gonna do the air release this week, and we're looking for early January for the cut and cap of the old line that's still there. Denniston Welding completed some welding repairs to the Denniston Creek, the Denniston Water Treatment Plant contact clarifiers. We had a failure in there, and they really came through and helped us repair a screen and get some studs reconnected to the upper ring that keeps the screens down. We're working with Roberts to figure out what actually happened and what caused it. Let's see, Denniston Pump Station transformer is kind of stalled out due to PG&E scheduling, but we're on the old transformer, so it was nice we did that in parallel. Slide gate for the Denniston Reservoir is in place. That project went well, and as you know, El Granada project, the lowest bid was Stolowski. If you have any questions,
Director Cook.
The metalwork that Princeton Welding did, is that stainless steel? Are they working on stainless steel?
the screens were stainless, and the upper ring had stainless studs welded into carbon steel ring.
Wow, so that's pretty complicated metalwork, isn't it?
Well, lining up all the studs in the right exact spot was quite a bit of work. But they're a nice group of people, and they do fine work.
Yeah, great.
Very good.
And you mentioned Denniston's been up for like the last day and a half, 2 days.
Yeah, we fired it up Friday. We had a little skated hiccup over the weekend, but it's
Okay, so it's running
producing
right
water
now.
right now.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay, and now Kathleen, going to tell us about water resources.
So, making water conservation a California way of life. I've brought this up before. It's going to be a hot topic for the coming couple years. The update is basically the State Water Resources Control Board and the Department of Water Resources finalized their primer. And basically, the primer summarizes the tasks and the timeline for the state to complete these tasks and to implement this new legislation that's referred to as making water conservation a California way of life. So I did provide a link if you actually wanted to read the primer in there, or any of our customers want to read the primer. There is the link there. If you read it, you see how large the scope is. It's urban water use, it's agricultural water use. It's a completely new way of looking at water conservation. They're going for urban water use, a water budget method that urban water retailers will need to meet. And it involves quite a bit of work on both the retailer's part and the state's part. So at least now we have basically a timeline, so we know when to expect things and when new requirements, new regulations, new reports are due to the state. But there's definitely a lot more work to come. One of the big ones we're waiting for is for the state to provide water retailers the outdoor water budget part. So they're supposed to do measurements, and they're supposed to define irrigable area and irrigated area, and so there's still a lot more work to do, but at least they're slowly making progress, and there'll be more to come, and it will also impact our next urban water management plan, which is it's the 2020 urban water management plan, but it won't be due till 2021. So we'll have some new requirements in that document also. So.
Have we heard anything back from the state on the groundwater, where they reclassified us, and what's happening with that?
Right.
Oh, yeah. Good
Yes, they've extended the, so we were supposed to find out in November, mid-November, but they've extended that now to January. So supposedly, the beginning of the year, we should find out if they're supposed to respond to our comments. I think, Mary, you heard more about it at a conference, I think.
Right, I think that basically summarizes it, that they've delayed till early January to make their final determination on the basin prioritization.
So we're still in the same, we're in the high priority.
We're still in the high priority, but
At this
hopefully
point, but hopefully they may modify that
in.
when they put out their next going here. Okay, we'll keep our fingers crossed. I mean,
Right.
Do we have any idea how many districts appealed their classification?
Oh, they had something like 600 comments or something
Yeah,
from various agencies. So, and they're a mix from both basins that got reclassified upwards, and then there were a number of basins that got reclassified from high to low. And those are the ones that, it's amazing that they're the ones who actually came back and said, we want to be classified as high, and which was interesting. Because part of it was that they had received grant money to do all their studies and things. So they'd have to give the grant money back, or there'd be, or there may be issues with that grant money if if they were reclassified. So.
Okay, so they use that classification as the mechanism for justifying the ability to fund the things they have to do to maintain that
Right.
groundwater management program. Oh, very interesting. So we won't know till January, but we'll keep hopeful that the comments you made, which were pretty, I think, to the point,
That was a
telling.
great
They were
appeal.
great. I mean, I can't imagine that they wouldn't see the validity of what you offered. So let's keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, good. Thanks for bringing it up, Arnie. That kind of
No, yeah, I
fallen
just
off the
forgot all
radar
about that.
almost, yeah.
Yeah, good
I think
point.
that's a,
That's a biggie.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, please let us know if anything develops. On Kathleen's report, it seems like, I mean, what you take away from this, the takeaway is going forward, it's a busy. Or like that.
Yeah, and it's a
For
very
you.
different.
And different kinds of busies.
Regulation, yeah.
And so the water resource analyst will be spread quite thin going forward in the future years. It seems to me that's what this says. If you have to do all of these various reports, add new ones, and do them, or support in some form to help to prepare these new documents. So we have to consider that as stuff we may be hearing from in the future from the staff about having people work with us on these, the consultants that do things for us in the past may have to do more of these things. I'm just thinking out loud. I mean, it's clear that this isn't going to come free.
Right, and we are working with Bosca.
Right.
And they're seeing where they can offer
Right.
assistance
Okay.
to agencies, just like they do like on the urban water management plan,
Okay.
and to help, as we find out more about exactly
Right.
what's going to be required in the reporting, maybe they can offer services at by combining all the Bosca
Okay.
agencies at a cheaper rate for
Okay,
consulting and things like that.
to try to combine needs and to get better bang for the buck, as it were. No, I understand, yeah.
Or more
The sum is
regional.
greater than, the
Yeah.
whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And so they may be able to get some
Sometimes.
synergy sometimes.
When you're talking about, we're very different agencies, but.
Yeah, no, I understand, it's just,
But we're
But it-
looking for areas where a regional
some
approach
synergy.
would be,
and
more
also
cost effective.
keep costs at least somewhat under control. No, that's a good idea. So you'll keep us posted on that and what Bosca's up to as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any other questions for Kathleen? If not, then any requests for future meetings or other items as the last item on the agenda? Future board and committee meetings and requests for future board meetings items. Okay, hearing none, we will adjourn this here meeting today at
Well, Ken, bars.
Hey, that's pretty good. That was one of the fastest.
It's a record.
That's a record.